Good evening. Well, at least the intro worked this time. So, hang on. So we can get chat. So obviously we have Chloe in, we have Carrot House and Majenko. Hello, everybody. The VT240. First time we looked at it, we replaced the caps on the power supply, and didn't get around to actually doing anything with it. Hi, Sam. Second time, we actually reinstalled the power supply, tried to fire it up, and it sounded like it was working, but it got no video. I did some investigations during the week to see if I could figure out what was going on. Checked the obvious things like voltages out of the power supply. Recapped the 12 volt rail in case that was important. It didn't look to be important for the type of RAM that's fitted to this, but it is on some versions of it. And it was running around 9 volts with the fan, which was... Hiya, Phil. Yes, thank you for spotting the reference there. I think it's lost on quite a few people. But yeah, so had a look at the 12 volt rail because the fan was labouring a bit, and it was running around 9 volts. So I recapped it, and then it was running around 10 volts. So I scratched my head a bit, and it turns out that if the minimum load spec on the 5 volt rail isn't met, and it's about 4 amps, the 12 volt rail runs low. Oh, Phil, I need to have a word with you about that then. Because I tried to license Just a Minute, and it was something like £290 per use, which is obviously a bit outside... a bit outside the budget for an idiot streamer. I don't know whether having the CDs includes a license or not, but anyway, I shall touch base with you on that later. So yeah, recap the 12 volt rail unnecessarily. It runs spot on 12, which what I should have done in the first place is test it by looking at the 12 volt output to the keyboard when it was running, and it was fine, but still no video. So what we're going to do is we're going to run it in a rather bizarre configuration. Because the power supply is in the top lid, and the cable that comes with it is not long enough to allow you to run it with the power supply off for diagnostics, there's a whole bunch of really dodgy crocodile clip connectors. So let's see how this goes. Where are we? Come on down a bit. There we go. So we have the oscilloscope running, if I can remember how to turn that on. If I was on the right scene it would help. There we go. Why has that not turned on? There it is. It's in the wrong place. Well, it's not listed in the dock set, Chloe. If there is a diagnostic cable, DEC aren't telling me what its part number was, and even if there was a part number for it, God knows where you'd get one these days. You'd probably make one. It's only a, what's that, 0.2 inch header thing. But anyway, so hard to know where to start really. Let's start by having a look at the video output, because we were seeing last time some signs of sync, which is good. So let's investigate what it's actually putting out, then we can maybe get a clue as to whether the CPU is running or whatever. So to help with that, here is a 75 ohm terminator on the end of some dangly wire, so that will help. And if I can find the, there it is, probe tip. Whoa, that was noisy. That's... oh, I've got zoom on, that won't help. But what the hell is all that noise? I don't like that it goes away when I touch the probe cable. I hope I haven't damaged the oscilloscope somehow. So anyway, let's... yes, thanks Majenko. Slapping it may or may not help. It might just knock the tripod over because it's only a lightweight thing that came with a 20 pound laser cross measure thing from a cross line from Lidl. So it's probably not up to a slap. But let's cross our fingers and hope this janky power supply arrangement works. Well, there we go, we got something. Let's turn the right knob. Right, one moment, let's stop that. Chill the power because I don't trust my crocodile clips, and thank you, Phil, I shall have a look. And yes, 2862 actually, but Agilent regardless, obviously, as you can tell from the screen. Well, no, I say Agilent, but obviously they put out a firmware update that took away the nice mountains on the boot splash, which I liked, and put a boring ass corporate keysight thing on instead. But anyway, let's see what happens if we do that. Right. So we've got something there, but what does it look like? It looks almost like video, but not quite, because we have low going sync pulses, which I believe are, well, hang on, where's the cursors menu? Oops. Let's see. So yeah, it's 50 Hertz. So that's obviously a field. But we're seeing sync pulses, what's that at? 100 millivolts. Let's set that to something like that. And black level's about right. Excursion's down to sync level, but then it's sitting down at the sync level for the entire visible period. So obviously there's something not right there. The question is whether it's because there's something wrong with the video output circuitry, or maybe the CPU isn't coming up and initializing something, but the fact that we're getting the 50 Hertz vertical syncs suggests that the sync generators are running okay. That's all in this chip here, which is a NEC something or other D7220, I think. So that's responsible for all the timing. The fact that it's set to 50 Hertz presumably means that the CPU is coming up far enough to read the settings out of the configuration. It can be configured for 60 or 50 Hertz operation, and that lives in this device here, which you can't see because it's behind the scope capture. That one there is a combined static RAM and EA ROM, I think. Yeah, Phil, that's what I'm thinking. The main CPU on this is a T11 over here, which is a PDP-11 on a chip. We'll try and have a look and see what it's getting in terms of reset. It generates its own reset. There's a cap to the power rail on a pin called power up, and it uses that to time a reset pulse. It sends the reset pulse out to the rest of the thing, which then configures the operation bits for the T11, if I remember the technical manual correctly. I did print off the relevant schematic pages, or rather I attempted to, and then my printer decided it was having none of it, so they might currently be sitting in the paper tray upstairs, but I'm not going to go and check because we're already on stream. So let's see if I've got the schematic loaded here. I wonder if I can change displays without completely killing the stream. Right. So what we want for that is pin 19 on the T11 is the power up pin, and it generates a reset on pin 18. So yeah, let's take a look at that, if we can unhook ourselves there. I don't see any obvious ground lugs around here, so we're going to have to use the chassis, and it's going to be nasty physical integrity, but such is life, unfortunately. And that's what, a 40 pin, and we were aiming for 19, so that'll be over here, won't it? Oh, hang on, where's pin 1? There's pin. Let's get the right end then. Well, let's see what happens. Well, time base is obviously well out, so let's do something like that. Okay, that was fairly sensible. Let's move the trigger point over a bit. Too slow. Single. Right, it appears to be. Let's see if I can point. No, I cannot point. Stays high, goes high fairly quickly, and then drains off. So, is that what we would expect for a cap to ground? Well, let's have a look at pin 18, which is the clear output, and see what happens there. Off. Hang on. Okay, so that's probably not good. So that'll be 2019-18. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the chip again, aren't I? Haha! Right. Okay, that looks more like what we'd expect for a reset pulse. High to low transition to initiate the power-up sequence. So it must be... If it's got a cap to 5 volts. Yeah, well, let's have a look. I think we're probably going to want to be going in to see what activity there is on data or address lines in a minute. Because I mean, I think that looks okay for a reset. It comes up, it stays low, fairly low, and then goes high once it's decided it's had enough of resets and is ready to get on with business. So that signal there is B clear. It's used to drive a tri-state buffer to pull various pins on the or various bits of the address and data bus to set the operation mode of the chip. So whether it's on a 16 or an 8-bit system, etc. So it only needs to go low very briefly during power up. So let's look for activity on the system ROMs, because they're going to be the first things that boot. Yeah, that's a good point, Phil. Thank you. Let's get the debugging fluid out of the way. Whoops. Where can I find that on? Yeah, I might be able to grab that off a witch's hat somewhere. Where is it? Oh yeah, let's tell you what would be really clever is if I didn't leave the power running when the fans stalled out again. I mean, the fan's only there to cool the power supply, so presumably it needs it. Where's there going to be 5 volts I can tap off on this? That's a random 74 chip. Okay, and we want that on. We want 5 volt per division. Let's put it up there somewhere. My one complaint with this oscilloscope, lovely piece of kit, except you can't change the trace colours because they're drawn by the ASIC and it's all hard-coded. Which, when you are colourblind, means a lot of wobbling things up and down to see which one's which. Let's put it in roll mode. And let's actually probe something with this one. That's what we'd expect. And power up will be clear. Yeah, okay. No, Jacob. Sorry, you probably asked that before I mentioned it. Dizzy, hello, and yes, thank you. Right, so let's look for activity on the system ROMs for the main CPU, the PDP-11. Let's see if I can find where that is. That will be on. So we probably want pin 20 on these ROMs here. Okay. So where are we at? If I'm doing my maths right, it's there. Whoops, there. Let's get the other. Did anybody see where I put the other witch's hat? Well, I can't have gone that far. Come on, there it is. Well, RF programmer, I'm going to plead not guilty on that. I didn't break this. That's not going to work. We'll just do it this way. It was given to me in an unknown condition, having been. Right, there's no activity on that as far as we can see. Back to Oh. Hang on. Let's try some of the others. Yeah, so no, this was sitting in a colleague's attic above his office, which it was an outbuilding, and he hadn't used it for a few years, and he's turning it into a residential outbuilding effectively. So he had to get rid of all the junk that was in his attic and such like. And we were up there looking for a deck rainbow because I'd said if he ever wanted to get rid of his, I would be glad to take it off his hands. So he went and got a ladder and we stuck our heads through. And this was sitting on top of the rainbow, and I thought it would make a good project to see if we can get this up or see if this worked before I tackled the big one, but it's not going too well. So one moment, let me just get this right again. 18, 19, 20, yeah, so it should be there. Aha, right. We're seeing activity on that ROM. So why that one and not this one? Oh yes, of course, Dizzy. You've got a dog face visitation imminent, haven't you? Yeah, should be fun. Right, so we are on... there are no RefDes markings on the board, which is really useful. Thanks for that, DEC. So where's the... if we... I think that one's 19, which is the low word of... So those two are... No, that can't be right. Can it? Yeah, these two are the low words of something and these two are the high words of something, and they split it across a 32 and a 16K ROM for reasons best known to themselves, and then fitted sockets for a single bigger one if you wanted to. So we're running code by the looks of it from the PDP-11 side, and this is the point at which it would probably make sense to dig out the logic analyzer. The only problem is, as you can see, this takes up so much room on the table, there's no room to put the logic analyzer anywhere. So let's have a think. What could be... Well, let's look for access to the video controller. That might be the next step. It's a fairly complicated setup, this one. You've got the T11 as the main CPU for the system, and then you've got the display processor chip there, and down here you've got an 8085 which is used as a text accelerator, so all three of those could be accessing the display RAM, which is over this side. So it's got all sorts of arbitration logic in there to deal with that. Actually, while we're here, let's look for activity on the system RAM, which is this bank down here. If we looked at pin 4, read, is it? Pin 4. No. Pin 4 is row, pin 6 is column. Let's look at pin 5, which is address bit 0, and see what we've got there. There should be some life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, because that's just going to be on the bus, isn't it? So that's not going to help. 3 is the right pin. Okay, that's sitting high. Pin 1, minus 5 volts. Let's see what that is. There's a button to do that. No, not that one. Come on, analyze. There it is. And we want pin 1. Oh, now that's interesting. Oh, clipped. Okay, that's almost minus 5. That's probably okay. And then pin 8 is the other power rail, should be 5. Yeah, okay. Right, so let's find the selection logic for the video. Memory map 8085 decode. Well, we could check the 8085 reset line, which is coming out of pin 10 of E89. Well, at least I can remember E89. That's BMW thing. Right, E89 is that one there. No, that one there. 1, 2, 3, 4 up. Sorry, I did try and set up screen sharing so you can actually see these schematics I'm looking at, but obviously I have some permission set incorrectly so you don't get to see them, which is good fun. Thank you, Apple. So what's that? 8, 9, 10. Let's see if the 8085 is getting reset. Let's turn that off. Right. Okay, that looks suspicious. It's not getting as far as resetting the 8085, which is the text processor. Am I definitely on the right one? E89. 1, 2, 3, 4 up from there. Pin 10. 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let's see about the... Well, one of the earliest things it does, I believe, is copy the configuration out of the NV-ROM into the NV-RAM. So that should be E68 pin 9 is the chip select for that. So E68 is 68, 66 is that one there. E68 pin 9. Yep. Okay, same thing. It's not getting that far either. We did notice when we powered it up that we got some signs of life from the keyboard, but unfortunately it turns out that's the keyboard just doing its own power up self-test. I checked that by sticking 12 volts up it from the bench supply, and it made the same chirp and flashed its lights. Yes, Carrot House, that would be an ideal piece of kit. for that. I mean, mine is over here. Big beefy thing. Where are we? There we are. But yeah, there just isn't room on the table for it at the moment. So, which is a shame because I have a 40-pin dip clip. It would have been great fun to actually use that for something. A T-trolley, yes, a T-trolley. The closest thing I have to a scope cart is the enlarger table I built that lives in the guest ensuite. For a while, it got used in my study as to hold the logic analyzer when I was building the homebrew CPU. So, right, where were we? So, the size of life from the keyboard were not of any interest. Let's go back to checking if it's talking to the display controller anywhere. Let's see if we can find it. Graphics read write. Modem decode. Okay, 88, that's 8085 clock. So pin 36 of that is the well, no, just at the other end won't do that. Let's continue searching for. There's a 7220. That's what we're looking for, isn't it? Yes. So there must be some sort of. Right, pin 9 is read and 10 is write. So. And my ground clip isn't long enough. Yeah. We'll leave it floating for the time being. This one should do the job. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 was read. Well, we'd expect it to write, wouldn't we? 1, 2, 3. See if there's any signs of life there. No. So this seems to suggest that it's just not getting anywhere at all during startup. Majenko, yes, you're right. The 80 channels on mine were really useful when I got it. For this, 16 would be fine. What I've never been clear on is whether certainly the cheap ones, whether they're any good at state analysis. Timing analysis, fine, obviously. But what we want here is to be able to say, here's a multiplex address bus, pick the address off, then the data, which the HP can do trivially. I'm sure modern ones can as well. It's just a question of software, obviously. But yeah. So we saw activity on the chip select line. So the T11 is obviously doing something. So presumably its clock will be fine. But let's have a look anyway. See if it's within spec. I can't see it wouldn't be if it's talking to the ROMs, but. Where are we? T11. Pin 22, so that'll be 1, 2. Need better lighting as well. Right, yes, we've got clock there, that's fine. So we'll look 20, 19, 18, 17 is a low bit of the data and address bus, and there's activity there. RAS and CAS on 29 and 30, so check DRAM is refreshing maybe. Yep. Let's see, does it talk to any peripherals whatsoever? Where can we find that in the memory mapping? What time is it, by the way? 22, okay. I keep forgetting you can't see what I'm looking at, I do apologise. RAM low, RAM high, Lux. So IO decode 645, so pin 4 on pin 4 on 68. Where was that one? That was the one over here, wasn't it? 68, that one. So pin 4 on that is peripheral IO select. And we're still powered up, excellent. So no activity there. What about on a reset? No. Majenko, since you definitely looked at this at some point, do you happen to remember if the technical reference goes into details over which, or the order of operations of the T11 startup? I'm just going to have a quick look, but I don't know if I've got it open. Yeah, well, I've got it open, but it's open to the page on the integral modem options. That's not much use. Let's go back up a bit. Right, major circuits. Let's get that power. Bus transactions, yeah. Mode register. Well, we're seeing the mode register get loaded, so that's fine. Control gates. Read, write, decode gates. Decode cell 0 and cell 1 to enable either refresh activity or address strobe activity. Decode CPU read and write control signals and insert priority signals. So that probably address latch. DRAS L, okay. So if we pull, there's DRAS L on this thing. RAS L, DRAS L, there we go. It comes off E28 pin 3. So that is what drives the address latch. E28 678 is that one, pin 3. Okay, so there's activity there on the address latch. That's a good sign. At least the CPU is running the multiplexer correctly, or the multiplex bus correctly. Yeah, B clear is deserted, up goes high to low, mode is loaded, P clear is cleared, so we're seeing all of that. 20 refresh cycles, the stack pointer is loaded, and then we're into all that. Okay, right. What was that? That was not a good sound. Well, we're not powered up, so that's good. Shall we try something stupid and just reseat all the ROMs? Maybe that'll help. We were seeing activity on them, but you never know. I wanted to try and read them earlier to verify them against someone else's dumps, but I don't appear to have drivers for my Mini Pro on this laptop. That's not happy. Okay, that's why that's not happy. The board's loose. It's these awful snap fittings. Well, let's give it a go. Actually, I don't trust myself to do that on camera. RAM access is RAS before CAS. Now, yeah, the RAS CAS timing and such, like, I believe comes off a PAL somewhere. It certainly does over this side for the video. Can I spot one here? Not obviously. Let's have a think. What could we look for? I mean, obviously, do feel free to shout suggestions out. I will attempt to pay attention. ROM. Well, so we're looking at basically 4 and 15 on the RAMs are 4 is RAS, 15 is CAS. So yeah, let's have a look at those quickly. We'll just look for activity first, and then we'll probe their relationship to each other afterwards if we think that we might need to. Come on, down here a bit. 2, 3, 4. There's activity and 15. Oh. Well, that's probably not ideal. Am I miscounting? 8, 16, 15. No. And that was just me slipping with the probe. Mod activity. And these are probably all common, but I don't know. That one is set. There's a high bank and a low bank for 2 halves of the data word. But yeah, there's no activity there, is there? Let's go all the way in. Compared to pin 4. Oh, I've got the trigger set stupidly for video. There we go. Right, and compare that to pin 15. No. So we have no column address strobe. Burst of RAS power up. Yeah, good question. Let's go back to raw mode then. No, nothing there at power up either. So we're not either it's not getting as far as trying to touch RAM, or it's trying and failing somewhere. So let's see if we can find the relevant decodes for that. So it's coming out of 20. Come on, brain. So we are looking for column. So DCAS L comes out of E28 pin 6, and E28 was this one up here, wasn't it? E28 resist, and then 1, 2, yeah. E28. So DRAM RAS is on 3 and CAS is on 6. 2, 3. Activity 4, 5, 6. Activity. Right. So that was DCAS L. Which one are we actually driving the RAMs with? RAM low CAS. RAM low. Where's the decoder for that? RAM low CAS takes RAM CAS, which comes from RAM CAS on page D3. Page 3. RAM CAS L comes off 48 pin 8. E48. Where's E48? It would have been really helpful if my printer had got around to spitting out even just the page with all the refdes's on it. That would have been nice. E48. It was 12, I said, wasn't it? How are we doing for time? 10 minutes. .48 pin 8. Right, no activity there, so what are the inputs? 9 and 10. That's 9. RAM enable. And 10. Whoop. Let's try that again. 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is always high, and that is pulled to 5 volts, that's fine. And 9 is bouncing around like a good one. And that's the RAM enable line. So 8 is its output is always high. Well, that's what you'd expect because it's an OR gate. Okay, fine. No. Does that make any sense whatsoever? For the RAM CAS L line to be held high, RAM enable low. Let me see if I can put this up on screen somehow. One moment. E49 pin 8 RAM and L. No, that's yeah, that's bouncing. Pin 9. 48 pin 9. Yeah, so what's that doing in... Yes, there's activity there, which presumably is... Well, hang on, what's that doing? Selecting the RAM as a device being addressed, presumably. And the other pin is pulled to 5 volts, but can be pulled low by E53, which is... What on earth is that doing? I/O enable and... So E53. This might be where it would be nice for the text search in... Let's have a look. E53. Memory decode, makes sense. And there's no other reference to it apart from a list of parts. Let's see where E53 is and have a sniff around it. E53. '53 is that one. Trifle warm, interesting. Where are we? Oh, I lost my place in the schematics. E53 there. I don't recognise the part number on that. Let's have a closer look. Oh, it's a 74S288. Where is my reference missing? Okay. Oh, that's just a programmable ROM, I think, isn't it? 74S288. Yeah, it's just a PROM. Okay, let's look for activity on it anyway. G15. So that's its enable line, that's bouncing around, so that's good. 9 is there. So this is the memory map chip by the looks of it. So it's got outputs to RAM column address strobe enable effectively, and ROM 1, 2 and 3 chip selects on pins 1, 2 and 3. So yeah, there's activity there. So we're whatever we're doing, we're running code out of ROM 1. And the address pins are 10 through 14. 0. That's a bit noisy. And 14. Yes, that's expected because pin 14 is pulled high and has a jumper to ground, which presumably isn't fitted. So we've not yet got as far as actually trying to address memory. That would explain why we're not seeing any activity there. E71 pin 8, you say, where's that? Sorry, Majenko, give me some context for that one. RAS comes from the T11. Yes, it does. E71 pin 8, where's 71? 71 is 71 is 4 up. That one. No, that's not right. That one. Yep. So we want 71 pin 8. Come on, out of the way. No activity on 71 pin 8. So 9 and 10 are the inputs to that. Well, that's an OR gate, so there's 10. That looks unhappy, that waveform. 9 has activity on it and 8 has nothing on it, so I think that's not right. 74LS32, so it's a simple OR gate, in, out. Give me one moment. Let's come on. Just absolutely double check I'm on the right chip there. E71 is 2 over and 4 up there. E71. 74LS32. So let's watch one of the inputs. If I can get the bloody probe on there. Oh, I'm on at 7 o'clock. We've got Shelby to go and pester in a second. Let's do this the quick way and then we'll pester Shelby. E71. Top trace will be input, bottom trace will be output, and we should see the bottom trace at least follow the top. And it doesn't. So yeah, that looks like a very good place to break for the evening, as it is Shelby o'clock. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone. We made some progress right there in the last couple of minutes. I shall have to get the desoldering gun out, check that out, and see you all hopefully next week.